1800 hours Pakistan Standard Time. This is Radio Pakistan. The news read by Daman Zaman. The headlines. The Prime Minister says the health sector reforms introduced by the government will ensure quality services to the people and rectify the existing deficiencies. 82 deaths from coronavirus have been reported, with 4,688 new confirmed cases during the last 24 hours in the country. The Minister for Industries and Production has said the government has decided to privatize the Pakistan steel mills in order to revive and steer it out of the losses. The Foreign Minister has established a dedicated public diplomacy consultative group as part of Foreign Office reforms initiatives. Pakistan says children are among the most affected in occupied Kashmir due to the Indian brutalities. The United Nations High Commissioner for Human Rights has expressed alarm over the clampdown on freedom of expression in India and some other countries during the coronavirus crises. And now the news in detail. Prime Minister Imran Khan says the health sector reforms introduced by the government will help improve the health facilities, ensure quality services to the people, and rectify the existing deficiencies. He was talking to a delegation of the Insaf Doctors Forum in Islamabad today. The Prime Minister regretted that the health sector was ignored in the past, due to which the common man is facing difficulties in accessing health facilities. Imran Khan paid rich tributes to the doctors and healthcare staff in their fight against coronavirus. On a proposal of the IDF regarding establishment of a hospital in Waziristan, the Prime Minister said the task force on health reforms will take the proposal into consideration. 4,688 new coronavirus cases have surfaced in the country over the last 24 hours, taking the total tally to 85,264. These include 31,104 in the Punjab, 32,910 in Sindh, 11,373 in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, 5,224 in Balochistan, 3,544 in the Islamabad Capital Territory, 824 in Gilgit-Baltistan, and 285 in Azad Kashmir. The death toll from the virus stands at 1,770, with 82 new deaths reported over the last 24 hours. 30,128 patients have so far recovered from the disease. The Minister for Industries and Production, Hamad Azhar, has said the government has decided to privatize the Pakistan steel mills in order to revive and steer it out of losses. Addressing a news conference in Islamabad today, he said 15 parties have evinced their interest in the Pakistan steel mills. He clarified that only the core steel mills operations will be privatized. Hamad Azhar said about 9,000 employees of the Pakistan steel mills will be relieved in 2 phases after payment of their retirement dues and 1 month's salary. An amount of 20 billion rupees will be spent on this package. On an average, each employee will get 2.3 million rupees. He said this proposal will now be forwarded to the cabinet for approval. The minister expressed his dismay over the political point scoring by the opposition parties on the matter. He reminded that it was in their regimes that the Pakistan steel mills became a loss-making entity and then was shut down. He regretted that no effort was made by the previous governments to revive the organization. Rather, its loan surpassed 200 billion rupees. The government's SARS program has introduced a supplementary payment solution to facilitate beneficiaries of SARS emergency cash who were facing problems in withdrawing money owing to defying biometric identification. According to Dr. Sania Nishtar, Prime Minister's Special Assistant on Social Protection and Poverty Alleviation, the supplementary solution has been done away with. The biometric verification of fingerprints from NADRA offices. Now the beneficiaries with this issue will be paid exclusively in the designated bank branches of partner banks without biometric verification. SAS will now send out a new payment SMS to qualified beneficiaries through the number 8171 service. The process has already been kicked off, and SMS messages are being sent in a phased manner to all the beneficiaries whose biometric verification was defective. The Foreign Minister Shah Mahmood Qureshi has established a dedicated public diplomacy consultative group as part of Foreign Office reforms initiatives. Comprising eminent scholars, field specialists and former ambassadors, the group will consult and advise the Foreign Minister on various aspects of public diplomacy, including projecting and promoting Pakistan's rich cultural, literary, sports and performing arts heritage. Additional working groups and committees will be established to spearhead the initiatives in the priority areas of digital diplomacy, cultural diplomacy and sports diplomacy. The establishment of the consultative group is the latest in a series of reform measures to bring focused attention to key areas of the policy. This is Radio Pakistan. The Minister for Information and Broadcasting, Shibli Faraz, has urged the world community to take notice of the worst kind of persecution of Kashmiri children at the hands of Indian occupation forces in occupied Kashmir. In his tweets today on the occasion of the International Day of Innocent Children Victims of Aggression, he said the arrest and martyrdom of innocent children in the occupied territory is a big question mark on the conscience of the international community. The Information Minister said merciless use of pellet guns in the valley have deprived the children of their eyesight. He said the picturesque valley is facing shortage of essential commodities, including ration and medicines, due to the inhuman prolonged lockdown. Pakistan says children are among the most affected in occupied Kashmir due to Indian brutalities. At the weekly news briefing in Islamabad today, the Foreign Office spokesperson Aisha Farooqi said the Indian atrocities in occupied Kashmir have reached the highest point. She said members of the European Parliament have also raised the issue of Kashmir by expressing concern on human rights situation in the held valley. The spokesperson urged the international community to take notice of the Indian barbarities on innocent Kashmiris. In a statement, the Foreign Office, while completely rejecting the baseless Indian contentions regarding Buddhist cultural heritage in Gilgit-Baltistan, has dubbed these as part of the Indian leadership's unrelenting anti-Pakistan propaganda. The Foreign Office spokesperson said the allegations are contrary to the historical facts, international law and relevant United Nations Security Council resolutions. The spokesperson said Jammu and Kashmir is a disputed territory recognized as such by the international community. The dispute is the longest standing item on the agenda of the United Nations Security Council, which remains unresolved due to forcible, brutal and illegal occupation of a part of Jammu and Kashmir by India since 1947. The spokesperson said India's state terrorism and extrajudicial killings and fake encounters in occupied Kashmir, vandalism and destruction of minorities, places of worship, including the historic Babri Mosque, lynching of cow vigilantes under the government's watch, Gujarat massacre of 2002, and targeted killings of Muslims in New Delhi in February this year, and rendering millions of people stateless, with discriminatory steps such as NRC are well documented by the international human rights and humanitarian organizations. The United Nations High Commissioner for Human Rights, Michelle Bachelet, has expressed alarm at the clampdown on freedom of expression in India and 11 other countries in the Asia-Pacific region during the coronavirus crisis. In a statement in Geneva, she said any action the authorities take to stop the spread of false information must adhere to the principles of legality. In India, Michelle Bachelet said several journalists and paramedical staff have been charged for their public criticism of the authorities' response to COVID-19. Meanwhile, Geneva-based Human Rights Council issued a statement appealing to states to ensure human rights while contending with the multiple ill effects of the virus on their societies. Turkey plans to resume flights with around 40 countries from Wednesday. Talking to media in Ankara, Transport Minister Adil Karishmail Oilyuan said flights to northern Cyprus, Bahrain, Bulgaria, Qatar and Greece will resume from the 10th of this month, while flights to 17 destinations including Germany, Austria, Croatia and Singapore will start on the 15th. He said flights to a further 16 countries will begin on the 20th, 22nd and 25th of this month. The International Day of Innocent Children Victims of Aggression is being observed today. And finally, the weather. Mainly hot and dry weather is expected in most parts of the country during the next 12 hours. Rain, wind, thunderstorm is expected in central and southern Punjab, Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, northeast Balochistan, Kashmir and Gilgit-Baltistan. Meanwhile, dust thunderstorm with rain at a few places is also expected in districts of Sindh. And that is the end of this news bulletin. For more news and analyses, log on to our website, radio.gov.pk, and you can also watch the live video streaming of our bulletins on the link facebook.com/Radio Pakistan News Official.